Welcome back to the Michigan Business Beat, brought to you on the Michigan Business Network. Good to see everybody out there. If you're watching this visually, we have the Honorable Supreme Court Justice Richard Bernstein with us today. Now, I'm going to give you literally 30 seconds, and then we close your mic, because you wanted to say something else in regard to COVID.
About in person, and why in person is so important and critical, and we have to do it immediately.
There you go.
Okay, I'll just say it very quick. The reason that Zoom doesn't work, the reason that businesses have to end this, is I can just give you examples from the court. When you have people sitting around a table, it's a whole different experience than when they're on Zoom. When you do, the court has been virtual for over 2 years. We went back to work in person for the first time last week. The reason that this is so critical is that when you're sitting around a table, you ask things like, how are your kids doing? How are your parents doing? Personal relationships are absolutely critical to this job. When you do things exclusively on Zoom, those conversations don't happen. And over time, personal relationships start to disappear. People get angry, they get frustrated, and they forget why they care about each other. They forget that you're friends with people, that you love these people, that these are the people that you care about. Personal relationships, work relationships are the same thing. At the end of the day, people have to care about each other. They have to like each other. But in order for that to happen, they have to be together. Life has no meaning if you're just doing it by Zoom. So the reason that I am so passionate about this is what's happening at the court is happening in all businesses. Those relationships will suffer if you don't put an emphasis on getting people in person. It's the way that we're meant to be. It's the way that God created us, and it's how we must move forward essentially without exception.
You know what? A quick comment, and then I'm going to move on to how the Supreme Court works.
Yes.
You and I really met at a Small Business Association of Michigan.
Correct.
Jobs seminar about bringing handicaps and people like that back into the workforce, and what accommodations we can make, etc.
If that was virtual, we never would have met.
Well, and this is the other thing. There was a great comment there that I never thought about, and this particularly applies to you, being blind, is the isolationism.
Correct.
That comes with the Zoom.
I lost a lot of friends. I lost a lot of friends over the last 2 years, not to COVID, but to suicide, because of that isolation. I cannot emphasize how important it is to have that human touch, to have that human companionship. It is so critical. I just want you to think about this in your own workplace. When you're not together, you just forget why you like that person. If you only talk about the business at hand, those relationships suffer. And at the end of the day, we as humans are made to have relationships. Whenever you read a book or you watch television, it's all about relationships. It's all about that interpersonal connectivity. That's why people love shows like The Office, because candidly, that's what makes life great, is The Office. You have to be with people. That's why life is fun, is because of all those interrelationships and all the things that happen that can only happen when you are together in person.
Well, no,
it has
you're
to
absolutely
happen
right.
now.
Absolutely right. And we try to emulate The Office right here.
Absolutely.
All right, let's talk about, because we've got like 3 minutes left, let's
Yes.
talk about the Supreme Court and how it actually operates. And you don't know this, but I actually had a case in front of the Supreme Court.
Oh, wow, okay.
And it dealt with property law.
Oh, okay.
Which is the premise upon which you work.
Yes.
Is it going to change law
Yes.
or precedent?
Yes. What the impact is going to be. And I think in the last few minutes that we have, I'll just explain quickly how I do my job. And especially as a blind person, because that's what people are really curious about, which is, if you can't see, how do you function in this position?
Yeah.
Well, there's one critical day. It's Wednesday. It's called conference. Conference is when we basically make decisions on no less than 25 cases. Think about how much that is, 25 cases. So people ask, if you're blind, how do you do this? Do you put it in Braille? No, cannot put it in Braille, because one textbook page is going to correspond to 65 Braille pages. Braille doesn't work. Can you use a computer? No, can't use a computer, because if I'm on my computer, I can't interact with you.
Right.
All the other judges are on their computer, but I can't. I have to basically be focused, because I can't listen to my headset and be talking to you at the same time. So how do I do it? I memorize all 25 cases every single week. Now that doesn't mean that I memorize them word for word, but I know it to this extent. The commission will say, Justices, we are on case 18. Case 18 is a carjacking on Woodward Avenue that resulted in 2 homicides. When I hear carjacking, 2 homicides, that is my mental trigger. I can then recall the case in its entirety, but we're not done yet. I still have to learn all the common law cases that are on point to that case that either help my position, and I have to also know all the common law cases that work against my position so I can make an effective argument.
Or formulate your position.
Exactly, but I have to know that case and all the common law cases that correspond with it, and I have to do it by memorization and internalization of the materials. And I do that every single week, and that's why my clerks and myself work 12 to 15 hours a day, 7 days a week. But the reason we do it is because there's so many cases that we've been able to make a difference on that have changed people's lives. And I can honestly say one of them that I'm most proud of is the Flint water case that gave voice to 150,000 people and gave them constitutional rights. Yeah. And that is why we do it. And I believe that is why God gives us the strength. He'll always give you what you need when you need it. And you'll always have the strength that you need through your spirit to accomplish what needs to be done, because sometimes there is simply no other alternative or choice but to.
Well, I will tell you, Richard, you may not be able to see, but you have great vision.
Oh,
so
well, thank you.
It's great to have you down here.
Until I
It
bump
really is.
into, until I destroy everything in your office.
Yeah, that's right. Oh no, we're going to watch. Supreme Court Justice Richard Bernstein's been our guest here at the studio. You've been watching the Michigan Business Network, and this is the Michigan Business Beat. I'm Chris Holman. Thanks for being with us. Thank you, Richard.
God bless.